Hey HIST 101 students, Professor Benelou here with a series of 3 short videos of me explaining Unit 2 discussion board. The first video I will be going over the assignment in general, and then there are a total of 6 topics to choose from. The second video I will go over 3 of the topics that you can choose from, the primary documents you can choose from, and then the third and final video, I will be going over the last 3 that you can choose from. Okay, so an important thing to remember about Unit 2 discussion board, it is broken down into 2 due dates, everybody. The first due date is the original discussion board post or the initial discussion board post, and that will be due Friday, February 26th by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then your second and final due date in this important assignment is Tuesday, March 2nd. That is when your peer responses are due. You are going to be required to respond to 2 of your classmates, and I will be getting into that shortly. Okay, so your initial discussion board post, which will be due February 26th, it will be broken down into 3 important sections. Don't get overwhelmed, just take it by section, and you will be fine. First of all, you are going to be analyzing a primary document from the topics list that I will be going over in a moment. Now, please understand that a primary document is a document that was written during the era of history that you are studying. All of these 6 documents that you can analyze have plenty of research information available on them. You just need to choose the one that you feel interests you the most and go for it. Okay, so like I said, this is broken down into 3 sections. The first section is the context section, which will be worth 20 points. Name the document you chose to analyze. Who is the creator of the document? Briefly describe the creator of the document. And when and where was the document created? That's the context section, worth 20 points. The next section is summary, which is also worth 20 points. Summarize the points that were made within the document. What was the issue or topic covered in the source? What's the creator's main point about the topic? And what is one interesting detail you have learned from this source? So that's summary. Then finally is connections, worth 15 points. How does the source help you better understand a topic you learned about in the Unit 2 learning materials? Basically, how did reading this document help you to better understand Unit 2 learning materials, in particular your IntelliPath? Does this source support what you already knew about the topic? If so, how? Or does this source change the way you think about the topic? If so, how? So that is what is due February 26th. Okay, again, it's all wonderful to say you need to analyze a primary document, but what is a primary document? Once again, a primary document is a document that was written during the era of history that you are currently studying. And within this assignment, you're going to be asked to analyze a primary document, the circumstances under which it was created, and how the document still impacts us today. And if you are still wondering about the primary document and want a better definition, I have 2 links here that will give you just that. Okay, so this is your topic list. You have 6 topics to choose from, 6 primary documents to choose from. The first is a letter called Memorandum for the President, November 1st, 1961. This was a letter that Richard N. Goodwin, a presidential advisor to President Kennedy, wrote to President Kennedy. And it was about the Bay of Pigs. John F. Kennedy Cuban Missile Crisis speech is actually a YouTube video of a speech President Kennedy gave October 22nd, 1962, addressing the nation regarding the Cuban Missile Crisis. The third topic is John Kerry's speech, Statement of Vietnam Veterans Against the War, that he gave on April 23rd, 1971. This was a speech that Kerry gave in front of Congress, and it was, being in opposition of the Vietnam War, American involvement in the Vietnam War. In the second video, I will go over these first 3. Okay, and then in the second video, I will go over National Organization of Women's Statement of Purpose, 1966. The Statement of Purpose is the founding document for the National Organization of Women, which is an organization that is still around today. And that is an interesting one as well. And the fifth topic is Cesar Chavez Talks in New York, June 1968. This is actually an interview with Cesar Chavez regarding the Latin American rights movement in his United Farm Workers Organization, which the United Farm Workers Organization is still around today, fighting for the rights of migrant farm workers. And then the last topic is SNCC Vine City Project Black Power 1966. It's basically an opinion piece about the status of the civil rights movement, the formation of the Black Power movement, and the Black Panthers. So all of these, like I said, are interesting and have a ton of information out on them. It's just you need to pick the one that interests you the most. And again, in video number 2, I'll be going over Richard N. Goodwin's Memorandum for the President, John F. Kennedy's Cuban Missile Crisis speech, and John Kerry's Statement of Vietnam Veterans Against the War. In the third and final video, I'll be going over the National Organization of Women's Statement of Purpose, Cesar Chavez Talks in New York, and SNCC Vine City Project Black Power. Okay, so onward with this. What is due on March 2nd is your peer responses. You must respond to 2 of your classmates. And it's interesting because my students, I love my students. You all are so polite and so respectful. But I want you to go beyond, hey, Susan, you did a great job on your assignment. You answered all the questions perfectly. I can't wait to read more of your work. Okay? Well, that's incredibly supportive. I want you to go beyond that. And I want you to tailor your post to your classmates' post. And you should be answering the following 4 questions in your response. What did you learn from your classmates' post? Are there connections between what you learned from your source and what you learned about their source? What is one interesting thing you learned from your fellow students' post? And what clarification do you need regarding the post? Okay, now this is the grading criteria sheet that I will be using to grade your Unit 2 discussion board. So my advice would be to kind of use this as a blueprint when creating your Unit 2 discussion board post. Okay, so the context section. Student identifies the creator, including a brief description. Student identifies when and where the document was created. My comments, how many points out of 20. Summary. Student fully summarized the document, identifying the main topic, the main points, and at least one interesting detail. My comments, how many points out of 20. Connections. Student identifies connections between the primary source and the unit learning materials. Student includes a discussion of how the source expanded or changed their previous knowledge. So in other words, how did reading this document help you to better understand the Unit 2 learning materials, in particular in Telepath? And did reading this document change the way you viewed this topic or not? So my comments, how many points out of 15? Peer responses. Student responds to at least 2 of his or her peers. You respond to 2 of your peers by the March 2nd deadline, you will get the 10 points. Easy. All right, response content. Peer response adds new depth or insight to the current conversation and encourages further conversation. Encourages further conversation is pretty key. So look at that and make sure you meet those requirements. My comments, how many points out of 5? Academic writing. Student uses proper spelling, punctuation, and grammar to write clearly and effectively. References, if provided, are in APA format. My comments, how many points out of 5? I tallied up over 75. Okay, so the pertinent information for this assignment, once again, broken down into 2 due dates. First due date is Friday, February 26th, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Then the second due date is peer responses, which are due Tuesday, March 2nd by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And of course, you can always contact me if you have absolutely any questions. My email address, lbenelou@coloradotech.edu, or please contact me through the messenger portion of our app. Okay, well that is it for video number 1. Hope you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next video where we discuss the first 3 topics.